Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Okay, let's see what we've got. First thing that I found, I'm not going to read this article, but I did want to tell you that this one is worth the read. I read through it. It's cryptocurrencies. Well, first let me give some credit here. This is crypto-XRP at crypto_-XRP. Cryptocurrencies are tied to nothing. That doesn't mean they're worth nothing. And this is a Medium article, and they take you through the difference between cryptocurrencies and compare it to like stocks and things like that. And it really kind of puts things in perspective. So go to Crypto-Dash's feed here and click on this and go read it over the weekend. This one is pretty eye-opening. The other thing is from Ran Nooner at Crypto Man Ran. He's the guy that does the CNBC Crypto Trader show. He says someone should create an online graveyard for ICOs that ran out of money. People can leave obituaries and messages to the founders. If you're going to do it, please make sure there's a lot of space. The reason I wanted to read this to you is because I've told you before on my channel, back during the dot-com boom and bust, there was a guy who created a company and a dot-com, and it was called Effed Company, but the full word spelled out. It was called effedcompany.com. This guy literally started this company, and he started posting all these dot-com failures, and he would get leaks from people at those companies that were getting pink slips, and they would be sending him out rumors and things like this. And the guy made money hand over fist. Now the guy did eventually get sued, and you should look, if you're thinking about doing a website like this for ICOs or for just blockchain companies that go out of business, make sure that you are careful about what you post, because I know the guy got sued because he was posting things about companies that he said were going out of business, and I'm sure that many of those companies said that wasn't true or this type of thing. So you need to make sure you talk to a lawyer before you do a website like that. But it will be a huge money maker in this, because we're going to have several boom and bust cycles before this is all over, and that is a good website idea. ICObust.com or something like that. Okay. This is an article from, I just wanted to show you what every once in a while Tim Draper pops up. Now remember, Tim Draper is a big Bitcoin guy, and he's one of the ones that he predicts Bitcoin will be worth 250,000 plus over the next few years. But he was talking about Starbucks, and I just wanted to read you this one quote. I thought it was interesting. He said, I think when you go to Starbucks to buy a cup of coffee and you try to pay with dollars, they will laugh at you because you are not using Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency. They'll laugh at you. It will be like the old lady paying out with pennies. And I predict the same thing in the next few years. That is what it's going to be like, not just at Starbucks. It's going to be like that at most stores. And so get ready. And it's not going to be Bitcoin. It's not going to be just Bitcoin. It's going to be major digital assets, the winners, the XRPs of the world. Okay, let me get rid of these. Then I was going to show you Stephen Dieppe. He did a good tweet here. We should not miss this video that features Hammer Toe. He explains about XRP in a way that BTC maximalists would have no words to fire back. All right, first you need to understand Hammer Toe. Well, first at DIEPSANH. Stephen Dieppe is a really good guy to follow on Twitter in the XRP community, because he posts many short videos that are 1 to 2 minutes and really get some good points across. He goes and finds some of the gems out there in video. But in this case, this is about Hammer Toe. Now, Matt Hamilton is at Hammer Toe. This guy's a very smart guy. He's a the way I understand it. He's a software developer. I think he currently works at IBM, and he's a software engineer. I believe I'm saying that right. Don't quote me, but he's a tech guy. I mean, this guy's very smart. Well, in this video, this guy's a Bitcoin maximalist, and he's basically wanting to have a friendly debate. And I watched part of it. I'm going to watch the rest of it. But I could just tell from listening to Matt Hamilton for a little while, I can tell that this guy right here is in over his head real quick. But like I've said to you several times on this channel, you will never hear the Bitcoin people, Bitcoin maximalists, you will never hear them try to attack XRP on its technology versus Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has no technology versus XRP, and they know it. And so you will never hear them attack XRP on the technology. They might try to say, oh, it's centralized, or oh, it's a security, anything but attack it on its technology, because they know that the technology of XRP is superior. Well, Matt Hamilton is a very smart guy with all of this tech. You know, on my channel, we focus more on the financial aspect of things and the markets as it relates to Ripple and XRP. That's more my bag. But I like to read every once in a while and watch videos by some of these guys that are more technologically oriented and know all of the stuff that makes the soup, whereas I'm just talking about the soup and how it interacts with the market and everything. These guys know how all this works, and to me it's very interesting to listen to them. So go watch this video if you, as soon as you can. Go to Stephen Diep's feed here, and there's a link right here to it. Okay, this is from Sean Michael at Michaels_Mister. And he sent this, and this is big. Another state, crypto victory. Colorado exempts cryptocurrencies from securities laws. Colorado Governor Jared Polis just signed the Digital Token Act. The new law exempts certain cryptocurrencies from securities laws and allows technologists in Colorado to operate outside of strict securities registration requirements. And here's I guess the picture of the guy signing it. And what's important here is what Colorado is doing here is most likely in reaction to Wyoming, one of their neighbors. Wyoming is being very aggressive in passing all these pro-crypto laws, and these other states, the dominoes are falling. And before it's over, the U.S. government domino will fall. And they're all going all in pro-crypto because they don't want to be left behind. Colorado doesn't want Wyoming getting all the jobs. They want to get some jobs. So good move on Colorado's part. Next, from eCent at EDADOUN. Great chat over at XRP Chat with a former Ripple employee. I showed you this yesterday. He says, great questions, insightful answers, and an overall enjoyable read. Recommend for anyone in the XRP community, and some of the content might even be interesting for those outside of the community. And what he's talking about is this thread here. The guy's name was Bob Way. He was with Ripple back when it was OpenCoin, from the early days. He was like, I think that I read he was one of the first 10 employees, and he left for health reasons. Well, I was going through this. This is on XRPchat.com, by the way. And let me see if I can. Okay. Yeah, this is on XRP Chat. Well, I went and I found this one. This is just one example of something that you can get out of going to this feed and reading this XRP Chat dialogue between this guy and all the people asking him questions, because we don't really get much information. The only person I know of that really, aside from making public announcements, that really gets in on Twitter and says anything is occasionally David Schwartz will say something. But this is the first guy who's been on the inside that we really have gotten any information from, and I thought this was very interesting. Here's just one example of things he's saying that we couldn't have known. He's talking about banks, and he says, JP Morgan, because you named it, isn't really competing with Ripple. They have had their own internal blockchain team for several years. It used to be run by Amber Baldit, who I met on several occasions while working at Ripple. She's an amazingly smart leader and was very gracious to me personally. She she referring us up the chain to her bosses several times for very productive meetings. But anyway, I just wanted to show this to illustrate the point that this guy is giving information that you couldn't get anywhere else. And that makes this a very interesting. I'm going to go through this weekend. I'm going to go through this entire thing and really take a look at all of this. I want to mention one thing before I leave this, and I'm going to show. I wanted to show XRP Neo's thread here at XRP_Anderson. But before I go through his thread, which is he's taken some snippets out of that XRP chat forum. But before I do this, I want to tell you what my thoughts are on Bob Way just popping up in XRP chat. I don't believe this is an accident. Ripple, the company, cannot come out and start saying the things that Bob Way is saying. They're not going to do it, and I don't think it would be responsible for them to do it. But what better way to get some information out than to have an ex-employee that's no longer tied? I'm not saying Ripple told the guy to do it, but it sure would be a smart thing to do. I'm just thinking out loud here. But anyway, let's look at some of the things the guy has said. This is XRP Neo. He says, if you haven't read the thread from Ripple, so anyway, he's talking about the Ripple now, the thread. Now look down here. This is one of the things that Bob Way said. I think XRP adoption among the right people for the right reasons is getting better and better. In this case, the right people are exchanges, and the right reasons is to support XRapid. As XRapid volume increases, more and more XRP holders and traders will be drawn into the ecosystem simply because there is money to be made trading the counterflow. Here's another one. While I don't remember anyone inside Ripple being particularly competitive with Coinbase, from the other direction, it quickly became clear that they felt competitive with Ripple. I hoped that we could bring Coinbase into Ripple as an early gateway. They, on the other hand, seem to feel that if Ripple won, they, let's see, let me pull this up, that if Ripple won, they and Bitcoin maximalists lost. So he's confirming that it was Coinbase that had a problem with Ripple or saw them as a competitor. I don't know what this means. I see it in some sequent post as well. Is it a meme? I'm not sure what he's talking about here. But anyway, here's another thing. He says, in June, I wrote Ripple asking for a job. I was the 10th hire after the founders. In my 5 years at Ripple, I served in a lot of different roles, all of which I'm very proud of. The original integration engineer, designed Ripple pre-transaction messaging system. Anyway, here's some of the things he did. Moving forward, the proof of work system is silly and wasteful for most use cases, save one, crime. It turns out that if you want to launch a fire and forget scam, then walk away into anonymity, then POW works great. It turns your hardest problem, operations, into someone else's problem. How interesting is this? SBI is an awesome partnership. Sometimes I think they are more productive than the San Francisco office. Gotcha, anyone who's reading. Emmy has been amazing working with them and keeping the U.S. team up to speed. I consider us great friends. Japan had some unique needs that makes XRP and rippling payments in general attractive. Expect them to continue pushing the bleeding edge forward. I mean, this is really a great thread. For example, the DTCC serves as a custodian and helps clear transactions, stock transactions. Arthur and his team realized that there isn't good hardware to support to help these custodians manage and support cryptocurrency, especially XRP transactions. These are all random, I know, but it's still interesting to get this guy's take. Several people left fancy jobs and joined Ripple because, I paraphrase, if we capture even a minor fraction of the international payments market, do you know the value of XRP will need to have to support that? Do the math. Really, really big trade number. 100 billion XRP. Wow. With that as background, keep an eye on Japan, India, Mexico, Canada. Then I'd start looking for large markets in South America and East Asia. As I mentioned in the previous post, any countries that are current clearing payments through U.S. banks that are at risk of de-risking account closure are very good candidates to use XRP. This allows them to disintermediate the correspondents looking to de-risk them. The overall theme and goal of Ripple as a company is to glue all of these technologies together into a synchronized payment network with instant settlement. Those two topics probably need their own thread. XRP represents the core of that network. The happy part of the accident is that, in my personal analysis, without that reserve of XRP to draw on, it would be impossible to force XRP into the position of global bridge currency asset. So curiously, I think Ripple holding that much XRP is critical to XRP's success. It also means that other cryptocurrency systems that attempt to become a global bridge currency will fail for lack of the leverage necessary to displace existing bridge currencies. Very long ago, there was an offer to buy Ripple out. Most considered it undervalued and preferred to remain independent. That was a good call in retrospect. But just to get you started, you probably know that Stefan, Ben, Peter founded a new company called Coil. What you probably don't know is that the name Coil was Ben's idea. It's a contraction of Codius and ILP. JP Morgan, well, I've already read that to you. Man, this guy just keeps on going. Let's see. He's got a few more. I'll read the rest of these. The key difference between the existing financial system and Ripple's technologies, XRPL, XCurrent, XVIA, XRapid, is that the current financial system executes payments sequentially while Ripple Tech executes them automatically. My personal opinion is that Ripple as a company has worked very hard to comply with the laws regulating every possible interpretation of the facts and circumstances. There are compliance teams and lawyers and especially outside counsel keeping everyone away from even the gray areas. There have been stories published in the press about Ripple's various meetings with regulators and Ripple participation in various financial system committees. At this point, I think regulators and other authorities see more potential benefit in Ripple than in potential harm. But that's just my personal opinion. Wow, that guy provides a whole lot of great insight. I'm glad I read that to you. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family to go read what Bob Way has to say. Thank you for listening.